December 15th, 2025, 4:30 a.m. UTC, you've just woken up. You check your phone. Everything normal until you see it. A single image appears on every news feed simultaneously. A luminous object, hazy in the sky. Not the sun, not a star, something else. Completely different. Sky coordinates: RA 14H22 mem, DEC plus 662 dig, apparent magnitude plus 2.3, visible to the naked eye. Telescopes from 6 continents detect it simultaneously. Not coincidence. Global. Same moment. NASA scientists stand at press podiums, their demeanor carefully neutral. Every statement is measured. We use the words unprecedented, unexplained. But their eyes tell a different story. The internet erupts immediately. Social media floods with panic. People remember 2011, a Lenin panic. 2020, UAP footage from the Pentagon. 2024, Wormwood prophecies. Scripture is cited. Conspiracies are theorized. Fear spreads, but there's one question nobody asks. If you don't know what it is, who will you believe? And more importantly, who decides what it means? To answer, we must rewind nearly a year. Return to a project most people don't know exists. Return to understand how a celestial object becomes a mirror. To understand 3E Atlas, you must understand what discovered it. Atlas is not the name of a scientist or an agency. It is the name of a network, the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. This network is designed to scan the sky each night, searching for near-Earth asteroids, objects capable of colliding with our planet. It is an early warning system, a global shield against threats from space. Atlas has operated since 2017, with facilities strategically positioned in critical locations: Hawaii, Chile, South Africa. Each facility houses automated telescopes that scan continuously 24 hours a day. They do not sleep, they do not tire. They only observe, record, analyze. The original mission is crystal clear: detect early, alert immediately, give humanity time to prepare. But Atlas does more than search for asteroids. The system is equipped with advanced AI algorithms, cutting-edge image recognition technology. There is evidence suggesting Atlas was designed to detect anything anomalous on the sky, not just natural objects. Strange objects, orbits that defy gravitational models, brightness variations, unexplained by standard scientific models. Everything is recorded, archived, analyzed by powerful computers in secret data centers. In March 2025, Atlas detects an object at the position of Cray Nebula, approximately 3.2 AU, astronomical units. Initially, it appears to be a routine discovery. Another chunk of ice and rock, another celestial wanderer drifting through the solar system. Scientists request other telescopes to confirm position, measure, analyze. Orbital calculations begin returning from computational centers. At first, nothing seems wrong. Then they become strange. Hyperbolic orbit, meaning this object is not bound by the sun's gravitational pull. It comes from outside our solar system. Only 3 interstellar objects have been confirmed in human astronomical history. 3. In all of recorded sky observation. In April 2025, the orbit is officially confirmed. This object does not originate from within the solar system. It is from elsewhere, from other places, from other stars. Universities, research institutions, scientific facilities worldwide begin paying attention. Scientific journals publish papers. Astronomers begin naming it. 3I Atlas, the third interstellar object discovered by the Atlas Survey. Dr. Sarah Chen works at NASA Planetary Defense, a department very few people know exists. If you ask anyone on the street, they wouldn't know it exists. Her job is to analyze data from telescopes worldwide, searching for potential threats from space. Sarah is a genuine scientist, dedicated, meticulous, always adhering to official procedures, never straying beyond what science has confirmed. She is not someone inclined to believe conspiracy theories. She doesn't watch YouTube videos about UFOs at night. She doesn't participate in Reddit forums about cosmic mysteries. She is a real scientist. Principled, uncompromising. But when 3E Atlas data begins appearing on her computer screen, she begins to feel something is wrong. Not the object itself. She can explain the object. A hyperbolic orbit, yes, unusual but not impossible. But what disturbs her is how the data is handled, how files are updated, then deleted, then updated again, how meetings occur in rooms she isn't invited to, how answers to her questions are always, "We'll tell you later." Far away in the United Kingdom, there is someone else. Dr. Marcus Webb, an independent astronomer, manages a website called Skywatch Anomalies. Marcus doesn't work for any government agency. He receives no funding from any official scientific budget. He is a free agent, someone who monitors sky anomalies, someone who records what official agencies might try to hide. He has tens of thousands of followers on social media, people like him, people who feel truth is being hidden, people who want real answers, not official explanations. Marcus is someone they trust. In early August 2025, Marcus receives an email, not from any official address, an anonymous address, encrypted, untraceable. It contains data about 3E Atlas not released publicly, detailed data, clear data, data that Sarah Chen might know about, a whistleblower inside the system, someone with access, someone with a conscience. Then there is another group. Call them the network. Data analysts, programmers, astronomy enthusiasts from Reddit, Discord, Twitter. They have no official organization, no leadership, no predetermined plan. They are simply intelligent people, curious, who know how to read code, analyze data, recognize anomalies. They monitor NASA's database in real time. They record every change, every update, every deletion. When a file is deleted, they know. When a timestamp is modified, they notice. They are observers observing observers. They are public eyes on a system that usually operates in darkness. What Atlas discovered is not an ordinary comet. Let's begin with the orbit. The asymptotic velocity of 3 Atlas is 27.8 km/s, fast enough to confirm it comes from outside the solar system. The orbital period is hyperbolic, meaning it will never return. It will leave the solar system forever, disappearing into the infinite darkness of space. The closest approach to the Sun, perihelion, is calculated for December 15th, 2025, at 0.1 TeA, approximately 18 million kilometers, from the sun, closer than initially predicted. But what concerns scientists is not the distance, it is the acceleration. The lateral acceleration of 3E Atlas fluctuates between 0.3 and 0.8 mm2 in recent months. Standard outgassing models, when a comet is heated by the sun and ejects gas from its surface, explain only approximately 60% of this orbital variation. 60%. Not 100%, not fully explained, only mostly. An independent scientist, a JPL Horizons data analyst, noted, "If you didn't know anything else, you'd say it's a comet. But when you learn more details, you start asking, is something else happening?" On May 7th, 2025, at 14:22 UTC, a specific timestamp recorded by the network, Atlas detects a brightness surge, a 40% increase in just 8 hours. A comet can undergo sudden outgassing events, but they usually last days, even weeks. Not 8 hours. 8 hours is short. Sudden. Very structured. Other telescopes are directed at 3E to confirm. Sloan Digital Sky Survey. Specialized instruments at observation facilities worldwide. Spectral data begins returning. And then something strange happens. The Keplerian Space Telescope spectral analysis detects iron, Fe, abundance, 3 times normal levels. Iron abundance in a typical comet should be at a certain level predicted by models of solar system formation. But 3E has 3 times more. 3 times. On August 10th, NASA requests a recheck, a complete reanalysis. Not because there's a problem with the telescope, other instruments function normally, but because this result needs confirmation or refutation. 72 hours later, the results are corrected. The iron abundance figure is now 1.8x instead of 3x. Still high but less anomalous. Still explainable by standard models. Just enough to not trigger alarm. According to the network, this data was adjusted, not entirely removed, but refined, made less anomalous, made to fit better with standard explanations. On August 5th, 2025, around 12 UTC, a timestamp recorded by automatic monitoring tools, the Minor Planet Center database goes offline. Offline. Inaccessible. 47 minutes. Just 47 minutes. Not a long time. Not a major outage. But anyone monitoring these databases knows downtime is unusual. These databases are designed for 24/7 operation. They are redundant, they are protected, they shouldn't go offline. Reddit users, people using network monitoring tools, begin documenting. 3E Atlas data is deleted from public records on 3 separate occasions within 96 hours. 3 times. Each time it's recovered within hours. But it is deleted. Why would you delete publicly available data? An independent data analyst says, not to remove it permanently, anyone with storage can retrieve it, but to create a gap, to generate confusion, to create the impression that this data is unstable, unreliable, potentially corrupted or erroneous. After these incidents, NASA adds a new label to all entries related to 3E Atlas. Pending review. The phrase pending review rarely appears in NASA records. In 50 years of public data, it has been used only 3 times. For genuinely anomalous phenomena. Things scientists are uncertain about. Event: 40% brightness surge in 8 hours. Official explanation: solar heating outgassing. What's strange? Lasts only 8 hours, usually weeks. Event: 3x iron abundance. Official explanation: instrument calibration error. What's strange? Why correct it 3 times? Event: 0.30. 8 magnetosphere 2 lateral acceleration. Official explanation: unbalanced comet gassing. What's strange? Only explains 60% of variation event. Database offline. 47 minutes. Official explanation: routine maintenance. What's strange? Occurs on days with anomalous data. Event: pending review tags. Official explanation: standard quality check. What's strange? Rarely used, only 3 times in 50 years. If 3 is a comet, all these anomalies could be explained. A comet is a complex body, unbalanced, chaotic, unpredictable. Strange things happen. But when you line them up, when you see the entire pattern, an independent analyst says any single detail can be explained. But all of them together? And strange information handling? That's when you start asking different questions. Let's review the timeline with specific dates. March-April 2025. Atlas detects object at Cray Nebula, confirms hyperbolic orbit. May to July 2025. Strange events begin appearing. Brightness surges, unexplained acceleration. August 5th, 2025, 1200. UTC, Minor Planet Center Database, offline, 47 minutes. August 5 to 9th, 2025. 3 EI data deleted from public records 3 times. After August 9th, NASA adds pending review tags to all related entries. August-September 2025. NASA releases official explanation. Natural comet, expected anomalies. But in the following weeks, the public remains skeptical. Social media continues finding contradictions, gaps in the official narrative. One critical thing: timing. The entire timeline of incidents, database outages, data corrections, all occur within a very narrow window, a few days. From when anomalous data was detected to when it was explained or corrected. Too fast to dismiss, too structured to be coincidence. 3 hypotheses stand before us, each fitting part of the evidence. None explains everything. And that may not be accidental. It may be evidence that the questions we're asking are too narrow, too linear. Perhaps the object is not X or Y, but Z, something we don't yet have words to describe. But let's start with 3 simpler possibilities. Hypothesis A. 3E Atlas is an alien spacecraft, a probe or unmanned vessel, or even a crewed ship, a genuine visitor from another star system. The logic is straightforward. The hyperbolic orbit is real. The velocity of 27.88 km/h matches calculations for interstellar craft. The lateral acceleration could be an ion engine or trajectory control technology we're just beginning to understand. Supporting details. On November 6th, 2025, SETI detects a narrowband signal at 1.42 GHz, the hydrogen line frequency, the frequency any civilization would choose for communication. The signal repeats regularly every 11.3 seconds. Not random, not natural. The Pentagon demands SETI cease publication immediately. Why? but there are problems. If it's a peaceful probe, why not transmit stronger signals? Why not announce clearly? Why the silence? Or if it's not peaceful, why doesn't NASA say so? Why no warning? Perhaps that aspect is being hidden. Perhaps there's a higher defense agency order. Perhaps there are things the public isn't allowed to know. Hypothesis B, 3I Atlas is not a visitor from space. But it's not just a natural comet either. It is a controlled event, a global scale experiment. The logic, database outages, data corrections, unusual information handling, these are not signs of a normal discovery. They are signs of deliberate information management. Data isn't entirely hidden, too obvious, but it is obscured, refined, presented in ways different groups can interpret differently. Supporting details. An internal document leaked from RAND Corporation states, 3E Atlas is not an asset, it is a test. The event doesn't matter. Can we predict the reaction? That's the data we need. Another paper from a major AI organization says, 3E Atlas, test case for new behavioral modeling technologies. AI can predict human response with 80% accuracy. If true, what's the purpose? Perhaps preparation. An acclimatization phase, gradually preparing the public to accept that truth can be unstable. Data can be ambiguous. Nobody really knows anything. A generation taught that uncertainty is normal. But there are problems. If it's an experiment, who runs it? Which agencies? For what purpose? And most importantly, if you're testing your ability to control information, what does that mean for what comes next? Hypothesis C, 3E Atlas is a comet. Simple, natural, no conspiracy, no secrets, no alien technology. The logic, brightness surge could be outgassing. Lateral acceleration could be unbalanced gassing. Iron abundance could be calibration error, or simply an unusual comet with different composition. Database outages could be routine maintenance. Pending review tags could be standard quality checks. Supporting details. There is precedent. Hale-Bopp in 1997 caused similar panic. Elenin in 2011 frightened the public. Comets rarely behave as predicted. They are chaotic, unbalanced bodies. Some independent scientists say, we've found ways to make it seem stranger than it really is. Humans tend to seek meaning in randomness. This is called pareidolia, the ability to recognize patterns, shapes, even conspiracies in random data. Perhaps 3 Atlas is just an ordinary comet, and we're the ones who've inflated it into a mystery. But the issue is, if it's just a comet, why is information handling different? Why is NASA silent at critical moments? Why are there contradictions in data? If you have a clear answer, why not share it? These 3 hypotheses share one thing. None fully explains all the evidence. None entirely eliminates doubt. If 3E is an alien spacecraft, why is the data handled this way? If it's a controlled experiment, why are results contradictory? If it's just a comet, why is NASA's behavior suspicious? Perhaps it's not that any hypothesis is wrong. Perhaps it's that the event itself matters less than how it's handled. The object could be X, Y, or Z, But our response, fear, doubt, disbelief, that's what's being observed. That is the real data. Dr. Sarah Chen stands at a press conference on August 9th, 2025. She wears a professional blazer, her hair neatly arranged, her expression neutral. She speaks carefully, each word measured. 3 Atlas is an asteroidal cometary interstellar object with a high probability of being a comet. Its orbital characteristics, spectrum, and brightness are consistent with natural comet behavior. The observed anomalies, lateral acceleration, orbital perturbations, are explained by standard outgassing from volatiles heated by the sun. All data has been thoroughly reviewed multiple times. There is no evidence of any extraterrestrial technology or influence. She pauses, waiting for questions from the press, but her eyes tell a different story. A story about what she cannot say. The official argument has strengths. Regarding orbit, 27.8 km isn't unusual. Comets from the Oort cloud typically reach 20-40 km. 3 other interstellar comets are known: 1I 2917 U1, 2I Borisov, and others. If 3E differs, it's only in degree, not kind. All interstellar objects are anomalous by definition. But that's not frightening, just unusual. Regarding outgassing, the argument is reasonable. An unbalanced comet will eject gas irregularly. Asymmetric ejection creates lateral acceleration. Comets like 1P Halley and 2P Encke have done this. Not strange. It's the reality of chaotic, unpredictable comets. Computer models explain 60% of orbital variation. Perhaps it's just incomplete data or imperfect model parameters. Science doesn't always have perfect answers. Regarding spectrum, the argument is calibration error. There's documentation of uncertainties in spectroscopy. Different telescopes can have different errors. Calibration is complex. Error is normal. But when you ask more subtle questions, the argument begins to crumble. Why correct iron abundance data 3 times before it stabilized? 1 correction is normal. 2 is suspicious. 3? That starts to look like a pattern. Why add pending review tags? NASA says it's standard quality checking, but the phrase appears rarely. In 50 years of public data, only 3 times. 3 times for things genuinely anomalous, things scientists are uncertain about. So, why here? If NASA is confident it's just a comet, why need these tags? Why the note that data is pending review? A normal comet doesn't need such caution, doesn't need such care, doesn't need such silence. Something more important, the timing of the explanation of the NASA releases its official statement on August 9th, 2025. But anomalies were detected in May. 4 months of silence. 4 months for data to be corrected, results rechecked, explanations prepared. If you had a clear answer from the start, you'd say it immediately. You don't wait 4 months. 4 months is time to build a narrative, to prepare the public, to ensure that when you finally speak, it will be accepted. This is not proof that NASA is lying. Their arguments about outgassing, chaotic comets, calibration errors, all have basis in real science. But the information handling, the silence, the repeated data corrections, that's not science. That's management. That's narrative control. On November 10th, 2025 at 22:47 UTC, a timestamp recorded by people monitoring anonymous forums, An internal document is posted on an unidentified website. Title: Atlas Internal Memo 2025 Final.pdf. Document date: September 2025, 1 month earlier. A memo written while data was still being collected, while decisions were still being made, in rooms the public can't enter. Key quote from this document: 3 Atlas is not an alien spacecraft, but neither is it just a comet. It is an experiment to test our ability to control global narrative. Steps: 1. Discovery. 2. Create confusion. 3. Allow people to self-sort into belief groups. 4. Observe distribution across AI platforms. When ready, announce truth, whatever that truth may be. Final effect: nobody knows anything about anything. That's the argument. That's the plan. Or at least that's what the memo claims is the plan. But there's a problem. Nobody can verify that this document is real. It could be a forgery. It could be another experiment, testing what people will believe. But its timing is too perfect to ignore. On November 11th, 2025, just 1 day later, Dr. Sarah Chen resigns. No warning, no prior notice. An email to colleagues: I resign effective immediately, personal reasons. As hours later, an anonymous comment appears on X, formerly Twitter, from a verified account identified as Sarah Chen: I can't do this anymore. They know, I know, you've known, but we can't say. 3 hours later, the account is deleted. Both the comment and the account vanish as if they never existed, but the network has recorded it. Screenshots, timestamps, everything. Data preserved. This is not random. A NASA scientist doesn't resign without reason. A scientist doesn't post such a comment unless something is happening behind the scenes. Immediately, speculation spreads. Something wrong with the data? Dr. Chen knows something she can't say? Was she forced out, or did she step away because she couldn't continue the charade? First connection: Pentagon UAP disclosure timeline. In 2017, the Pentagon releases videos from Navy pilots. Footage showing sky objects they couldn't explain. In 2020, public congressional hearings. In 2023-2024, whistleblowers begin talking. David Grush and others, claiming the government possesses extraterrestrial technology, though never officially confirming. But it's all vague. No conclusions, no clear statements, just questions, just uncertainty. And the span from 2017 to 2025 shows a pattern. Each time, the public is being acclimated to the idea that truth can be unstable, that governments can hide, that not knowing can be normal. Second connection: Project Bluebeam. A conspiracy theory from the 1990s, proposed by researcher Serge Monast. The idea: a fake global alien spacecraft using advanced 3D holograms, AI, global satellite networks, to create a fake alien contact event, to control humanity through fear. For a long time it seemed like science fiction. But the technologies Bluebeam described, advanced 3D holograms, AI capable of creating fake video imagery, global satellite networks, capable of broadcasting images anywhere, they now exist. They're no longer fiction. If someone wanted to execute Bluebeam, they could. They have the tools. Third connection, perhaps most important: AI. Belief modeling and behavioral analysis. Modern AI technology, developed by the world's largest tech companies, can predict social trends with accuracy over 80%, can simulate how ideas spread through social media like contagion, can predict emotional reactions, expression patterns, even violence trends. An internal paper leaked from a major AI organization says, 3E Atlas, test case for new behavioral modeling technologies. We can predict human response to random events. We can predict how different people will believe different stories. We can predict everything. If you have technology that predicts human response before the event occurs, you have a control tool. You can create an event, know exactly how different groups will react and act accordingly. You can optimize the event to produce precisely the results you want. That's what 3E Atlas might be. Not the object, but a tool, a global scale experiment to test those tools, to see if you can control not human thought, but how humans believe, how humans interpret truth, how humans organize into groups based on different beliefs. Another word for this is perception management, a field of study recognized by military and intelligence communities. The goal is not necessarily to lie, but to frame, to guide interpretation, to make people reach conclusions you want them to reach. And if 3E Atlas is a test of perception management, if the entire event, from initial discovery to database outages to leaked memo, is all part of the plan, then what's the purpose? One possibility, preparation. Making the public gradually accept that truth can be controlled, that data can be adjusted, that nobody really knows anything. A generation taught to feel that uncertainty is normal, that doubt is reasonable, that no evidence really works because all evidence can be controlled. That's the real tool, not an object in the sky, but helplessness, humanity's disorientation. On December 13th, 2025, 3E Atlas will pass within 0.25 AU of Earth, the closest approach it will make. That is 1/4 of the Earth-Sun distance calculated in scientific terms. On December 15th, 2025, at 4:30 a.m. UTC, perihelion, the closest point to the sun. The entire world will look up. A moment shared globally. Millions of people, perhaps billions, will attempt to observe it. Every telescope, every camera, every human eye will be directed skyward. After December 21st, 2025, 3E Atlas will begin leaving the solar system, never to return. It will vanish into infinity. The opportunity to know, to understand, to prove, it will be gone forever. History will record this as the last moment. But before that, there will be a revelation. NASA or another government agency will say something. They must say something. After 10 months of silence, after anomalies, after evidence, after data corrections, they must stand before global humanity and speak. The question is, what will they say? Scenario 1, designated blue. Scientific announcement. NASA will say 3E Atlas is a natural comet. All anomalies can be explained by standard cometary processes. Our analysis is conclusive. There is no evidence of extraterrestrial technology or intelligence. The public will be disappointed. Memes will flood social media. Conspiracy theorists will claim cover-up. But within weeks, interest will fade. The world will move on. People will return to their daily lives, their daily concerns. News cycles will shift. But one thing will remain: a permanent erosion of trust. Faith in NASA will decline by 30%, perhaps 50%, because the public will remember the silence. They will remember the anomalies that couldn't be explained. They will remember the database outages and the data corrections. They will remember that they were kept in darkness, and that memory will create a scar. If this is the plan, it has already succeeded. Scenario 2, designated red. Surprise announcement. NASA will say, "We have detected artificial signals. The origin is unknown. We are coordinating with international partners to investigate. Humanity is not alone." Global chaos, relatively contained. Markets will fluctuate. World leaders will convene emergency sessions. Scientists will debate implications, but here is the critical element. The public has already been prepared. 7 years of acclimatization. Pentagon UAP videos in 2017, congressional hearings in 2020, whistleblower testimonies in 2023-2024. The human species has been gradually conditioned to accept the possibility that something exists beyond our atmosphere, that government agencies might know and not speak. Because of this conditioning, there will be shock, but not panic. There will be existential questions, but not societal collapse. Humanity will understand that the world has changed, that we are no longer alone, that we were never as isolated as we believed. If this is the plan, the acclimatization phase will have succeeded perfectly. This generation of humanity will inherit a different world, a world where extraterrestrial life is not hypothesis but fact. A world where the universe contains neighbors we have yet to meet. Scenario 3, designated gray, and this is perhaps most likely, is silence. NASA will say, 3E Atlas has exited our effective observation range. Data analysis continues. A comprehensive scientific paper will be published in a peer-reviewed journal. That is all. No major revelation. No dramatic disclosure. No world-changing announcement, just bureaucratic continuity, and the public will be left in ambiguity. They will wonder if something was hidden. They will speculate endlessly. Conspiracy theories will persist and evolve. Doubt will become permanent background radiation in the collective consciousness. We will learn that not knowing is normal, that uncertainty is a perpetual state, that the truth, if it existed, is unreachable. AI systems and behavioral analysts will have collected invaluable data about how humans respond to ambiguity, data about belief formation under uncertainty, data about how different groups self-organize when information is incomplete. If this is the plan, it is perfect, because the infrastructure now exists to repeat this process indefinitely. But you have agency. You can participate differently. On December 15th, observe. Look upward with intention. Use tools like Sky Safari or Stellarium to identify the exact position. Or simply use your eyes and record what you witness. Document raw data, photographs with EXIF metadata intact, timestamps in ISO 86001 format, geographic coordinates precise to decimal points, equipment specifications, atmospheric conditions, visibility ratings. Share this data openly. If you possess radio reception equipment, monitor key frequencies, 1.42 GHz for hydrogen line, 1.66 GHz for hydroxyl, 10.7 GHz for neutral hydrogen. Record any anomalies, any structured patterns, any signals that repeat with mathematical precision. Note how official information agencies respond. What does NASA actually say? What does it conspicuously not say? When does it speak? What is the exact wording? These details constitute markers of information management. Archive historical records now. Back up all publicly available NASA data using archive.org. Document file timestamps, modification dates, version histories. If anything is deleted, if any inconvenient data vanishes, it becomes evidence. You become a witness to history. Questions persist without resolution. What is 3E Atlas fundamentally? A genuine visitor from another star system, a controlled terrestrial experiment, simply a natural comet with unusual characteristics? Who exercises control over narrative distribution? Which agencies? Why? What is the intended outcome? Are we being used as research subjects? Is uncertainty itself the operational tool? Do we retain autonomous choice? Or has choice itself become managed? Nobody can definitively answer these questions. NASA cannot. The Pentagon cannot. The scientific community cannot. The network cannot. Perhaps nobody can. But that absence of certainty does not absolve you of the responsibility to seek. The attempt to understand, regardless of success or failure, is itself meaningful. Because truth, whatever its nature, alien contact, government conspiracy, natural phenomenon, or social experiment, will transform humanity. And if truth remains forever inaccessible, that transformation will occur through uncertainty itself. Either way, the outcome will reshape human civilization. On December 15th, 2025, when the entire human species gazes upward at the same sky, we will see different things. You will see frozen dust and water ice. You will see a messenger from distant worlds. You will see a warning of cosmic events. You will see the beginning of contact with alien intelligence. You will see a mirror reflecting your deepest fears, your greatest hopes, your most profound questions about human significance. And somewhere someone has their hand on the controls, deciding what you see. So here's the call to action. Look upward. Record meticulously. Search for truth relentlessly. But most importantly, interrogate your own perception. Ask yourself, am I observing the sky or am I observing myself? Because that answer, it will change everything, or it will change nothing at all. That is the secret we are about to learn to inhabit.